Everybody, welcome to another episode of ArmTalk. I'm your host, Jody William, and today's guest, we're going to stick with the theme of the massive women's round robin tournament, but this time we're going to have the creator of the event, the brainchild of the event. Everybody, welcome LaRay Jenkins to the show. LaRay, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, you've been creating some waves since last year. You're putting on these events. You got big names, and it's spotlighting a lot of pullers. And you know what? Some of your events will create future stars in the sport. How'd you make it happen?
Man, first off, I'll go ahead and tell you how, I've been around the sport since I was 5 years old. And I'm 27. I'm going to be 28 this year. So, I spent my entire childhood traveling with my dad. My dad was a high-ranked 154 in the early 2000s, early 90s. And so, I was always a competitor, but I always looked at like the events too, and usually if you're a kid, you don't look at that type stuff, but I did for some reason. I was enticed at like how these events were able to take place. Right. So just over the years, I've just had like, ideas, some unorthodox. And, now that I'm able to do it, I want to try to put some of those dreams, make them happen,
Now, being a second generation puller, do you feel any kind of added pressure on yourself when you go to compete? Because today, as soon as we get off this show, you're going to hop on the road so you can go drive and compete tomorrow.
Yeah. So, a little bit. My uncle actually won WAF Worlds in 1987 in London. So he's a world champion. And my dad, he never went to Worlds because he wasn't big on, plane rides. He just, that wasn't his cup of tea. So he never went. He did win nationals. He's got as high as ranked second. So yeah, as far as competing, early on, I did feel a little bit of pressure. I won 2 national championships when I was 17. So I was kind of, I had it rolling early. And then, when my dad kind of stepped out of the spotlight, because he used to hold all the tournaments here in Tennessee, he kind of stepped out of the spotlight, kind of handed it over to me. And, it's hard because I got 2 caps on, right? I got my competitor cap and I got my other cap. And it is hard. It's very hard to maintain both. I think I'm ranked 20th right now. So it's not really, too extremely high. But I do try to maintain as high level as possible for both. You don't see... you don't really see a puller promoter combo like that.
Right.
I kind of pride that. Like, I want to be one of the best in that.
Well, so far you're doing good. And everybody in the chat, welcome to the show. We got High Dollar Entertainment. We got the Drew 24. We got Phil Woody. We got Pulsio TV. And you know what? Why that's special to me? Because currently right now, the East vs. West press conference with England and Devin are happening right now as we speak. Now, hey, I understand. I'm not big time like they are, so I assume everybody's watching over there. But for those that's chiming in, thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
The ladies round robin, and what I hope it could be something monumental. Now, I can't be at the event on May 17th. Well, 16th and 17th. I can't be there. But what I can do is try to help get the word out, constantly push this thing, maybe stuff it down some throats here or there, whatever the case may be. And my goal is to sit there and have as many as I can, if they're available, of the ladies involved on this show so we could talk about that. And one of the things I was impressed with, it was Tuesday, and unfortunately I couldn't watch it live, but I was at work. And you had a live show, a live drawing, because up until that point, I've had, maybe 5, 6 girls on the show.
Yep.
And they were involved. And I always ask them, hey, who would you like to pull first? What's the strategy? And when you rolled that, hey, guess what? I'm going to have a live. We're going to sit there. We're going to draw names and whatnot. And the fact that you did it on Corey Miller's system was awesome. And take everybody back to, how'd you come up with that concept?
Are you talking about like the concept of drawing names randomly? And so, well, I'll take you even further back real quick. So me and my partner, Chris, he's my good buddy, my training partner. He actually created Beast Mode, right? And because I would do the Tennessee tournaments, and they were fairly big, whatever. He created Beast Mode, and he was like, man, let's combine and let's just really try to do something good. So we actually had a venue hit us up, and they were like, man, we'll give you $1,200. Bring us a good tournament. And my Chris, he was like, man, you're the promoter, man. You got all the connections. Here's $1,200. See what you can do with it. And I'm like, man, what can I do with this? I could do some super matches, cool, but like, let's do something different. So I had the idea of the round robin, 12-man round robin. And because I've always wanted to get the best together, right? You don't see that much. And so we did that. And once we got one or two jumping on board, it just snowball effect. Because when you get elite guys on there, then the next elite guy wants to get on there. So fast forward, we get that booked. We got 12 men booked. And we're like, man, what's another cool way we can do this? Oh, we got 3 months until now. Let's just do a live random drawing and make some content out of it. So now people can strategize. They know who they got first round. They know who they got last round. All the way, 11 rounds. So we did that, and it was a hit. Then we did it again for the 98s. That was a real big hit because
now I'm going to tell you something right now. That was so badass. And I was just like, man, to have that array of talent in Tennessee, and it's like going, man, that's like, this is not Atlantic City. This is not Las Vegas. This is, any big city like that. And what you said earlier, because right now, the two things in arm wrestling that stand clear right now is super matches and social media, right? And the fact that, well, the round robin is kind of a mix between the two, because it's not one-on-one per se, but everybody in there you gotta beat. Yeah. Where like as a tournament, it's 2 losses and you're out. Where in a round robin, you could take 2 losses and you still gotta pull the rest of the field. So it's kind of like a mixture of the two, right? Yeah. And I think that 198 class was the first one that got enrolled, and all of a sudden everything, this class and 54s and 76, I think everything came out. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm liking this. Now, next month, now the weekend of May 16th and 17th. And I'm thinking, okay, how can we make this better?
Yes.
We'll have 2 classes with the ladies involved. We'll have the 154 class. We'll have the 155 and over class. Now, some dropped out, which is unfortunate, but even so, with that being said, there are still some names over there. Before we get into all that, who's filming the event?
217.
Okay, yeah. Brad Cook in the house. All right. So tell us, how'd you come up with that concept? I mean, because again, you said you got the connection, so tell everybody in the chat how that worked out.
How I got my connections?
Mm-hmm.
Man, probably a little bit too nice, honestly. I look at it like I've had people that's kind of, I always just try to see the good people, right? I always try to make a good impression on people. If you come to my tournament, I will make it a point to take 5 minutes out of, I don't know if you've ran a tournament, but you know how hard it is to run a tournament. You're busy. But I always make sure to, set aside some time. Let me go shake some hands and let me go talk to you and genuinely get to know you, right? And make a genuine friendship. Because, dude, I look at this as a family, man. Like, I got family and, we're going to Arizona in June. That's my family out there. I got South Carolina family. Y'all are all my family. So I just take care of my pullers, man. People who come to my tournaments, I really try to take care of them, and I really try to just do what I say. And, that's pretty much it. And then when you got 500 friends, they'll do you favors, They'll do you favors.
That's right. So I'm not going to sit there and talk about, who you think will win, because, the 2 things you don't do. You don't ask a referee who do you think might win. Yep. You don't ask a promoter who do you think might win. As a promoter, I do 1 tournament a year. This one right here is taking place in June. Okay. And all I want is to have everyone have a good time, pull hard, and no injuries. That's all I care about. Making sure the tournament runs smoothly, But tell me this. When you have all that, I mean, how do you because you got big names coming in, and then some dropped out, then you got to come like, I got to replace that person. And I know it's an ongoing thing, and you got to like grasp the straws. Okay, hey, sorry for the last minute, but you think you can make this event? And I know sometimes you got to, as a promoter, you have to do that.
Yeah.
How do you handle situations like that?
I ain't gonna lie, man. It's tough because, when you get these guys to agree to be a part of this legendary event, they know who's in it. Well, everybody has different motivations, right? We
Right.
give a good chunk of money away, right? So some might be money, some might just want to show up to pull the best, right?
Right.
And so if one of the top contenders drops out, then you worry, oh, well, damn, what about this guy? He may have wanted to solely pull him. That, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then you just gotta juggle it. But honestly, man, it's been a blessing because, as we built this thing, when I drop a round robin, like, for example, when I dropped, hey, we're building the 176 round robin, it's 6 months away from now.
Right.
I don't even have to send invites anymore. Like, I don't. And that's so nice to have because when I drop that, my DMs flood. I got 50 people to choose from, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they're all top dogs, which is a curse too, because then you're looking at 50 people trying to slot 12 names, and you're like,
yeah. So there's the $1 million question, because I'm gonna ask you right now, when the title at first was national championship, and I understand you probably got a lot of heat from it because of the word. It's like going, okay, I understand where you're going with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like going, okay, well, I understand it's not a national championship, but your forecast was to go, I want some of the best there, because once upon a time, the Nationals was everybody had the best. Yes. I know we kind of got away from it now with all these different organizations that have good payouts and that kind of stuff. Us Americans tend to, gravitate toward that. Nothing wrong with that, but that's just where we're at right now in the sport. Yep. And I know you're trying to bring it back to like, hey, whatever happened to the good old-fashioned tournaments where it was all about who was pulling, not so much how much money you're making. And I know, hey, I'll throw some money out there just for extra cherry on top. Yeah. But when you have an invitation, okay, because if you only got 12 spots to fill and you got 50 people, all up in your DMs, you're like going, okay, now I got some mega decisions to make, because what if you got 25 of the 50 that are badass?
Oh, yeah.
And of the 25, you only take 12. How does that work?
Man, so there's really no perfect way to do it. There really isn't. And you're talking to a person I'm probably the worst at telling somebody no, right? So if they ask me, I'm like, let me find a way, right? Let me see if I can find a way. But, we try to use the rankings. It's not perfect, but I do use all three. I'll look at all three. I definitely look at Aries. I definitely look at In the Hook. I know In the Hook and Arm Fighter, they're as accurate as they can be, right? It's all opinion. That it's never going to be perfect, but we try to look at that and, just go down the line, and, you're going to get some no's. There's guys who are contracted and who just can't. And I get that. I totally understand that. So we just kind of go down the line and try to take the best available. Again, it ain't ever perfect, and then you tell those guys who are in that next category, hey, look, man, I've got 4 round robins that's already happened. I can show you how we've lost 2 to 3. There's going to be spots that open up. So just kind of be on standby, and we'll have a spot for you possibly.
And I like the way you said the standby method, because, and we'll take, the National Invitation Tournament in December that you're going to have. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell you got all them people in Tennessee is beyond me. But you said once upon a time, I think you said, hey, if y'all can get y'all registration done by July 1st, then they'll secure your spot and lock you in and stuff. Now, I don't know how many have done that. I mean, you got guys in there like going, okay, well, I think in that Supers, I think Jerry Cadaret's name was up in there at some point. Now, whether he commits or not, who knows? He may have a king of the table or East versus West showdown at some point down in that area. You never know. But, it was cool to see that. Is it the same for the ladies as far as, hey, invite only? Did you turn some people down, or how'd that work out?
Are you talking about for the December event or the round robin itself?
Well, the round robin itself, are you taking the same kind of, game plan into the ladies round robin that you did for the international tournament as far as invite?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I will say the ladies, it was way harder. I mean, the field is not as deep as it is in the men's, right? I mean, that's just how it is, unfortunately. And, I don't know all the women. I'll be the first to say I know, who the top ladies are, but then once you get past a certain level, it's like, well, I can't say she's not good because we just don't see the women get to travel as much as we do the men. So that was the hardest. But I will say we kind of did lean on the girls this time. And like I took a lot of input from them. Like, hey guys, we got 2 spots. Who do you guys think deserves these last 2 spots, right? So yeah, they definitely gave some input and we listened to them, you know.
So we do have a question. Here we go. First question of the show. Why didn't Lucky get an invite?
Okay, so she does now. She is in there now. Originally, okay, this is gonna be a hard question to answer. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
I got you, man. I got you.
It's okay. Like, I don't care to answer these hard questions. You know, there was a little bit of drama with the women, right? And that's what I try so hard to avoid with what we're doing. I am not with the drama. I'm not with the band stuff. I'm not with the WWE bull crap. I'm not with the getting on a podcast, cussing somebody out. As far as you know where I'm going because
I know exactly what you know what, and as sad as that may be, I know more than most about the drama going on. I just don't care to talk about it on the show, so I get that.
Exactly.
So go ahead.
So, anyways, we had 1 spot left, and there was a handful of girls, right? And so, at some point, you do have to look at results, correct? You have to look at the data, and so. Lucky had came to our tournament, which was the 176 round robin that we just had a month ago. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm a busy man all weekend. I didn't get to get out and, talk to everybody and see how everybody was feeling or whatever. So anyway, Lucky pulls the tournament. I think she went 2 and out. And, one of the losses was to one of my partner, Chris, who helps me do this, his daughter, which was 14. Right. So again, I mean nothing by this, but I don't know what her circumstances were, such as, she dropped a video saying she had a broke finger, and she had a long drive. Okay, I understand that. But in hindsight, when I'm looking at names, only thing I got to go by is result right now, right? So I'm like, well, because when I put these things together, I'm all for the big underdog. I'm all for that. We had Casey Coley, who was in the 98s. He was a late addition. No one thought he could even do anything. He finished 5th.
Yeah, see?
Ahead of a lot of top dogs. So I'm not against the underdog, but when I have a certain thing right here, a bracket that shows me, I don't want to put someone in there that will potentially go 0-11, right? And I'm not saying this about Lucky either. I'm just saying in general in selecting. I don't want to pick someone who's going to go 0-11. For one, kind of hurts the event a little bit, right? The prestige of it that I'm trying to build. And nothing's more demoralizing than going here and going 0-11. Well, I was in the 154 round robin. I went 3-8 and I felt like crap. I'm like, man.
Right.
So
I'll tell you this, because the way the round robin is set up, more oftentimes than not all the time, but more oftentimes than not, the way that format is set up, somebody's going undefeated, somebody's going winless.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I don't think we've had anybody go winless yet on the 4 that we've had. And we've had 2 undefeateds. Craig Tullier went undefeated 11-0 in the 198s. And Eli Sadov went 11-0 left-handed in the 76s. But the 54 winner had 2 losses, and the 76 right-hand winner had 2 losses. So that was what was cool. But man, good. When it comes to inviting, it wasn't anything intentional with Lucky. She has the invite now, and we're glad to have her.
Yeah, and here's the thing, because relatively new pullers, and one has to sit there and ask yourself, okay, well, if it's supposed to be elite. And Lucky's been in the sport for, 3-4 months, give or take. Even so, in a round robin format, those are kind of dangerous. Not in a bad way, but dangerous to where it's like, okay, because you never know who's licking their chops and getting ready to upset somebody, right?
Yep.
Because you just never know. Because remember, because some people, not all, but some people will look at round robins and see the field and go, okay, there's a stud from the ladies division. Oh, she's badass. She's a world champion, multi-time. I don't know where I'm gonna fit at. but they forget one thing. Those top dogs and princesses that were mentioned, they all got to go against each other anyway.
Yep.
No matter what. And a lot of it depends on when they pull them.
That's the fun part. Yeah.
So and we'll use the ladies for an example. If you're taking Le'Aaron Wilson or a Sarah McKinney or a Merlene and, throw them in there, and what if they're the favorites? Okay, well, what if they meet in the first round? Then what? Somebody's coming back, already got one loss going into round number 2.
Yeah.
And then what if the ladies that are like, hey, maybe don't have a chance. Maybe they kind of get by the first 3 rounds. Now you're in good standing. So anything can happen, That's why these round robins, I think, are cool because let's be real. We'll use the 198 class because that's the one that got the most shine, right?
Yep.
Probably because it was the first one enrolled, but I got the most shine. Who would have thought, Toulier won. He was a favorite. Didn't think he was going to go undefeated, but he was a favorite nonetheless.
Yeah.
And then you still got Robbie Russell, scratching your head. He didn't take first. Or Adam Warzinski, who's been on the Knuckles Up stage, East vs. West stage a couple of times. Man, he didn't take first. Or Jason Merlot, the new face that runs the place at Knuckles Up. Oh, what? He didn't take it. Throw in Artem, Kosi Coley. List goes on and on. Bob Brown, say what you want. And I'm taking, man. And when you got guys, battling like Stephen Logsdon, Quinlan Mendez, list goes on and on. I'm thinking, man,
Yeah.
You just
Eduardo. Everybody knows Eduardo. He went
right.
1-11, man. He went 1-11. He got 12th place.
Well, I think I'm sorry. I got to say something here, and I'm gonna get heat for it, but I don't care because the video don't lie. I thought his match with Bob Brown, that first match, I thought it was a pin. I'm sorry, that was a pin.
Okay,
it is what it is. But
yeah, I got you. Yeah,
the live feed was one thing, but when you saw Brad Cook's footage, because he was he was close, he was filming.
Yep.
That was a straight pin. But it is what it is.
Yep.
You take it, you roll with it. Mm-hmm. Even Artem at some point was thinking, Artem's gonna blow up high ass. Artem didn't have I don't think he finished top 5, honestly.
He didn't. He finished 7th because we pay out to 6th. So
right. So you think about it. Now, the guys that finish, 7th and down, it doesn't mean they're nobodies. It doesn't mean they're bums. It just means that, hey, I was in there. I got my ass kicked. I dished out some ass whoopings in the process, but I landed where I landed. And that's what it all comes down to. That's what makes this exciting. Therefore, I'm waiting to see how this thing unrolls with the ladies on May. Now, who's going first? Is it the 154 class or the 55 and over?
So the plan for the weekend, it's actually May 17th and 18th. So the 17th is the Friday. So we'll open weigh-ins at lunch, 12 o'clock. Obviously, the 155 plus, they don't have to weigh in, right? They don't have a weight cut. They don't have to go hurry and weigh in, then go back and rehydrate, right? So that's why we're doing 155 plus Friday night, right? Because, we could make them wait. If we would have did the 154, then we would have had to open up a weigh-in on Thursday, right? Because I like to keep a 24-hour weigh-in for these round robins. That way you can be as healthy as possible, no excuses. So we did 155 plus will be that Friday night, and then Saturday morning will be the 154.
Right. I like that, because I was kind of confused on who was going first and stuff. And, I'm glad you cleared that up for me because I'm excited to where it's like, man, Brad Cook's going to be there. I'm thinking, okay. And I've been in talks with a lot of ladies involved in this, and they're doing the weight cuts now, they're going to start doing water cuts pretty soon. And, they're making sure because some of them are going to the East vs. West finals next weekend. So they're focusing on that first. Then once that comes and goes, then they're going to shift their minds over to the round robin and stuff. So, I'm excited for that. Yeah. Now, let's change gears because you're going to have a mega event around Christmas time in December because that's when you got the 5 classes, 54, 76, 98, I think 220. Oh, 6. 242. Yeah, you got like 6 classes.
6 classes, yep.
How on earth are you going to have all them classes just left and right, correct?
Yeah.
How did you pull this off? Are they going to be all in Tennessee?
Man, I don't know. I really don't. So again, this goes back. This is one of my dream ideas that I've had for years.
Right.
Well, so we started putting it together. I dropped the idea, and at first we limited it 32 spots, right? And at first we limited it to the United States only because I wanted to have, again, like you said, the national championship. And again, me originally calling that a national championship wasn't any discredit to the USAA. Wasn't that.
Right.
I support them. They have their purpose, correct? Like they will get you to Worlds, IFA, USA, whatever. They can get you to Worlds. I support them fully. My idea was for nationals. I want the best pullers, right? I can't get you to Worlds. I can't qualify you to Worlds, but I can bring the best together. You can meet them in the bracket. You know it'll be the best. Not to mention you'll know who will be here. It's not I'm going to Tennessee in December. Hopefully so-and-so shows up, right? And that's still sort of the case. But with the entry being locked in by July, at least you know their entry's paid for, and they're less likely to not. But I mean, life happens. Some people will drop out, of course. But so anyway, we dropped the news 1 week. 1 week after the news drops, that thing is damn near full, dude. And
you know what's funny about that? Because you actually told me, you're like, hey, we'd love to have you here. I said, yeah, let me get back to you. And I swear to God, 40 minutes later, that thing was full. I was like going, oh, damn, that's how hot this thing is, you know?
Crazy, man, crazy. And, man, I really just attribute that to, again, my relationships with people, man. I always go out of the way to be good to people. You know, they know what they're getting when they come to my event. It's going to be a good family fun time. So, again, it was full. And then I started getting calls from the Canadians.
Here we go. What about the Puerto Ricans too? Because
Puerto Ricans, all of them.
Boom, there you go. Do you have a Puerto Rican in the 220s, Toby Sanchez?
Yeah, he's in there. I got him in there. There you go. So I started getting the calls, and I'm like, man. At first, I was telling them no. I'm like, man, look, we're going to keep this United States only. I want it to be a national championship, so be. And then, you know, I'm like, man, look at this list of people. You got John Therian, you got Alan Ford, you got all these tip top Canadians. And I'm like, oh, we could really do this epic. So I talked to some people, Robbie Russell's a part of Beast Mode. He's a promoter with us. So I get with some people. I'm like, man, should we open this up? And, you know, we got all 32 spots filled. So if we do, you know, we'll just add some more spots. The answer was easily yes from even the competitors. They were like, yeah, if you can add those type of pullers, you'd be crazy to turn them away. Because let's be honest, in the way the world is today with arm wrestling, those top guys are getting paid to come to events, as they should. I understand that. I'm a little man. I go to work every Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I work in a factory, right, to pay my bills. Yeah. I don't have sponsors. My buddy Chris, who's the president of the Beast Mode, he goes and works. You know, he takes $2,000 out of his pocket every round robin. He don't see that back. But anyways, so those tip top guys that normally would require to be paid, they want to be a part of our event. We'd be dumb to turn that away. So we opened it up. They flood the gates. Mexico, Puerto Rico. You know, then I start getting messages on Instagram from people like Giannis, from people like Tom Holland, from people like – it just blew up, man. So now it's going down, man. It's going down.
Do you feel overwhelmed?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. When I run a 12-man round robin, I'm overwhelmed.
Right.
Because 12 people is a lot to keep up with. I got to worry about is their flight going to be in on time? Because if one person is the whole round robin, right? Mm-hmm. So I got to worry about all this. Well, now I got to worry about 400 people plus, right? Not to mention all the money is prepaid, correct? So it's $100 entry per arm, which that's a little bit high for an entry, but when we give it all back, people don't mind, right? We're not taking anything.
Okay, so, you know, in hindsight, and you kind of go, I'm going to this tournament, you know, we're used to like $30, $35 buy-ins, maybe $50. Yes. And now you see $100 and people are like going, fuck that. I'm not doing $100. That's too much. Well, I did the exact same thing with Corey Miller and his Aries thing. Shout out to Scott Armos in Utah. I sat there and went to Colorado, and you got 64 dudes over there, right? And I'm telling you, $100. That might sound a lot, but I'm gonna tell you right now, for what it was. Okay, first of all, for me, the first ever Aries 64-man Super Series, right?
Yep.
And you got to go, okay. And I think it paid out to like maybe fourth place. I can't remember what it was. But to be a part of something monumental. Now I knew it was like, okay, $100. Any other tournament? Nah, I can't be doing that. But I've done that before for Worlds or whatever the case may be. But this is pretty cool. It's who you're pulling. It's what it is, you know. What's your payouts to what place?
We're paying out to fourth. So first place, we're paying $1,200. Second place is $600.
Right.
Third is $300, and I want to say fourth might be $150 or $200. I can't remember exactly.
Right.
But like we're giving away outside of paying the refs, right? Paying for the awards and paying for 217. Math is math, man. We all can do math. Everybody knows in today's world, it's real easy to find out how much it costs to run a tournament, how much refs cost. So the math is there. It's not like people are trying to hide anything. It's there.
Right.
Do the math and see we're giving away $28,000 in cash prize. Well, when you start looking at the rest of the math, you got to hire 10 to 12 refs, and you got to, we're not taking anything. And that's what we're about, man. We want to give back to the pullers. We don't really care about what we take home. I'm not into that. I want to see elite events. I want to see that come back. So
yes.
that was the whole motivation for it.
And I think a lot of it's like, if I'm paying $100, what's at stake?
Yep.
And I can speak for the Aries because being the first one. Matter of fact, where's my helmet at? Do you ever see this? Look. So you see this right here?
Yeah.
You see this Aries Spartan helmet? Okay. So this thing, right? And I know it's just a plastic helmet, but it was cool because the match of the day at that first one with the Jonathan Vasquez, and he got match of the day. So after the event, we're all at the bar, getting a bite to eat, had a few drinks, just talking about the event and upcoming stuff. And he goes, "Hey, I need you to take this home for me." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "I'm gonna lose it somewhere." I'm thinking, "So you want me to hop on a plane with this goddamn helmet on?" He goes, "Oh yeah." I was like, "So what am I gonna do with it?" He goes, "One condition." I was like, "What?" He says, "We got to pull for it." Oh, okay. So I mean, as corny as that may sound, we are gonna pull. This is gonna be like, it's not a hammer, but it's gonna be an Aries helmet. And you know what? We're gonna pull for it later in the year. So what's at stake? Well, if you won first place, congratulations, Troy Brown. If you won first place at the Aries event, then you got the sponsorship.
Yep.
$5,000 sponsorship. You can go to any tournament you want to. It'll pay for your entry. It'll pay for your hotel or airfare, whatever the case may be. All you got to do is say the receipts. Here, Corey, here's my receipts, this, that, and the other. That was the grab. And then, of course, last minute, it was like, I think Bob Brown might have threw in some money last minute. And I think Vitacell might have stepped in, threw some stuff in. And it was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Because then it's like everybody wanted that sponsorship because we all know how sponsorships is hard to attain.
Yes.
That was the the gravitation for me anyway. I'm thinking, damn, if I get that paid for, my ass is going to Worlds now, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
Didn't happen, but it's okay though. Mm-hmm. So now with you said first place is how much now? $1,200. So there you go. So, okay, what can you do with $1,200? I can use that money and go, hey, this extra money that I didn't have before that I have now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, LaRay Jenkins, and the National Invitational. Thank you very much. So a lot of it has to do with what's at stake. And then if you can beat some big name peoples along the way, do you agree?
Oh, I fully agree. And I think, that was my whole original point of calling it a national champion, quote unquote, is because, you look at the list. I dropped the list of the 98 class the other day. Man, maybe I'm biased because it's my event, but like, I don't know an event that is that deep. Like there is 20 badass MFers in that freaking list that I can't tell you who's going to win. So yeah, man, like that's I fully agree with that, man. And again, 1,200 again, that's not a ridiculous amount, but when you look at it and you get 1,254s left, 1,254s right, 76, not, it all adds up, and
Yes.
that's about what you could do, So yeah, I fully agree with that.
Now let's circle back to the ladies for a second.
Mm-hmm.
What's the payout for the ladies round robin?
Oh man, you know what? I wish you wouldn't have asked me that. I think it's the same as my. I know we're giving 3,200 each arm, but it's split, through
Right.
sixth. I want to say 1,700 maybe for first, something like that. I think it's 1,700 for first.
Now, take that. And Candy Passmore, you were in the chat, so
yeah,
my lady friend, love her to death. Candy, thank you. She says she supports Robbie, yourself, myself, because I'm telling you right now, we'll use Candy as an example, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Candy, I'm going to do it anyway. So we all know her husband travels a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Passmore. I'm not trying to put Candy's business out on Front Street, but y'all got to know she's a mom too.
Yep.
More oftentimes than not, Paul goes to a tournament. She may or may not be able to go because she got kids during sports, right? So life happens, right? Now, with that being said, when you have a payout in the ladies round robin, now I'm talking to all the ladies out there. When you have that payout, depending on who you are, a lot of ladies don't get the opportunity to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Budget might be tight. You wouldn't take first through sixth? Now you got a cushion. Now it's like, okay, because I'll use this as an example. And this is where you come in. It'll make sense.
Okay.
Let's just say, well, since Candy's the only lady in the chat, she goes there, takes first place or second or everything.
Mm-hmm.
And now she wants to go test herself, or any lady wants to go test herself. Now, June 1st looks pretty good, don't it?
Yes, sir.
Because you all know, come June 1st, my man Tim Talmadge, Arm Sports Entertainment, the Swedes are coming. And I'm telling you right now, any lady out there that wants to really find out where they stand in this sport, you will have your behind June 1st in Arizona. Because I'm telling you how it is. When you get Thea Reisig, Caroline Patterson, Sarah Bachman, right?
Yep.
And they're all coming down there. What's the other one? God, I'm drawing a blank. She's gonna kill me now. I forget her name. Victoria, right? When they're all coming down there, Carlson. When they're all coming down there in Arizona, this is where the ladies. This is your shot. Because one, you got the round robin. Because now you get to go against ladies you probably thought you'd never get an opportunity to. There's one.
Yep.
Two, whether you win or not, but if you do win, now you got some extra funds to go, hey, maybe I can make that trip. Maybe I can help secure that hotel, help secure that, not entry fee because Tim has all his ladies put for free anyway.
We do too. Except the round robin, but yeah.
Yeah, bonus. So then you get the airfare, right? So I'm telling you right now, with this coming on with the ladies, I can't tell you enough how monumental this shift will happen. And LaRay, you are a big part of it. So I have to put that out there,
Well, I want to say, yes, I'll accept that. But my partner Chris, this really was his idea with the women. I think it seeded. Man, we were sitting at my dad's house training, and we were watching what is the promotion from Canada? The AWC or no?
It was the Magda. It was the AWC, and then she changed the name, so it's called something else now.
So it was Tamara Mitz versus somebody. I can't remember who it was, but we were watching that, and Chris was like, "Man, we got to do a ladies round robin," and I'm like, I'll be honest. I was kind of like, let's temper expectations because, it is very hard to put a women's event together. It is. Now, we can try, but, man, it really did take its own. So, and not only that, he wanted to make sure they get the same prize money as the men, right? So we just had 76s, 3,200 per class. We're doing the same exact for women. There is no difference. They're going to have the exact same stage as the elite men. And he really pushed for that. He wanted to give them that platform, and it took shape. So I got to shout him out for that too, for sure.
So Scott Evans says, any pullers want a huge game, come to Utah, drink the holy water. So you do realize this is in Utah, right? He has a point there. He does have a point because Utah, right?
Yeah.
If you're talking with the ladies, we're talking Jolene Anderson, world champion. I'll leave that there. You're talking Justin Green, Bob Brown, Jordan Sill, Cody Merritt, Robert Baxter. List goes on and on, right?
Yep.
So I get it. There's more. It is. Here's the thing about Utah, and I found out firsthand last year. So there are just so many guys and girls in Utah that you don't know that'll put the boots to people that you do know.
Yeah.
A lot of them just don't travel. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I am not making this up. I am dead serious when I said that. And yes, once upon a time, Brzezinski lived there. Todd Zilla lived there. So again, Kevin Barngard, I think he still resides there somewhere in Utah. Those are legends of the sport, names I just mentioned. And I'm telling you right now, I drank some of that holy water and woo, man, it's a little different. A little different.
Man, Bob, I will say, you mentioned Bob. Bob's been a big supporter of ours too. He's like one of our only sponsors. He's always really supported us. So I want to shout him out too. Bob Brown he's one of the GOATs, man.
Oh, yeah. Sarah, another contestant in the ladies round robin, just chimed in. Hey, Jody LaRay, did I miss the interview? Well, no, Jocelyn will be on later this evening, Sarah. So this is a double header. This is the first part of the ArmTalk double header. So no, you did not miss that. But I'm telling you, like, what you're doing here, when it's all said and done, you're going to kick back and go, damn. Now, I'm just guessing. By the time the weekend of May 17th is all said and done, it's in the rearview mirror, I assure you, trust me when I say this, you're going to get calls, messages, Instagram, all that kind of stuff going, hey, are you going to do another ladies event? You watch, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
When December, the national invitation comes and goes, you will get, hey, you going to do another one next year? Because I'm telling you, this, what I foresee is that this is going to be monumental, Now, I don't know if you got awards or whatever the case may be, but still, the fact remains that it's going to be big and you got your hands full. But I think when it's all said and done, they're going to be knocking at your door. They're going to be texting you, calling you, emailing you. They're going to do everything possible to get a hold of you. Yeah. My friend, you are going to be a very, very busy guy. How do you respond to that?
Man, I wouldn't want it any other way. I really wouldn't. A lot of people ask me, like, man, I couldn't do it. Like, man, I get off work and I come home and I'm talking to people and I'm booking people and I'm making graphics and I'm making videos. Like, it isn't work to me. I guess that's how I'll put it. It's not work to me. Like, I love doing it, and it's more of like I enjoy doing it. So when I'm enjoying doing it, I can look up and 5 hours be gone, and I'm like, oh, I worked on that for 5 hours and I didn't even realize it. Like,
trust me. When I do these shows, I'm like, oh, damn. But lucky for me, I'm off work today, so I can be like, where the fuck, Yeah. But normally it's like, oh, shit, this went by kind of long. But even Sarah wants to know, when you do get that call, what are you going to say?
Yeah, we're going to keep doing it, man. I really want to build these round robins as, something that we do over and over and over and over. And again, I wish there was a way we could do it annually where we could hit every class in 1 year. That way next year you get an invite to come back. But with no sponsors and we're paying out of pocket, we just got to hit them when we can, right? So right now we're on the, last year we did 2. This year we will have done, before the year's up, we'll have done 6 round robins. We did 2 76s. We're going to do 2 women. We got the 220 round robin at Arizona State with Tim Talmadge. We partnered with him. And then something that hadn't been announced yet, but it's in the works, and it's like 99% complete.
We got some breaking news?
Here it is.
We got some. I don't have my breaking news sound on, but man, we got some breaking news. What we got?
All right, super heavyweight round robin Florida, September, looking like a $10,000 cash prize.
Ooh, man.
That's going to be fun, man. And, I know you're not going to get your Devins and you're not going to get your John Brzezinks, but, you're still going to get the elite guys, right? And that's what we want. And hopefully 5 years from now when we're doing this, you will have a John Brzezinski or a Devin saying, man, that is something I want to win, right? Arnold's is went away, right? There needs to be something to step up in the void.
I'm bummed out that went away. I was like, dude, I only went one time, but the time I went, that was probably one of the most best times I've had when you're in there with a bunch of athletes from different kinds of sports. And here I am. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. I went in 2019 and I was in awe while I was there at that convention center. And you got these bodybuilders, you got power lifters, strongman, CrossFit. And when we weren't competing, I'm in this giant convention center and they all like separated in different booths and stuff. I'm going there watching what they do, right? So here I am in awe of them, not knowing when we're on stage as arm wrestlers, those same groups of people in their respective sports I just mentioned, they're all watching us.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't tell you, that was like, wow. I'm like thinking, there's a couple bodybuilders that was kind of checking us out going, when you got at the finals and you got Randy Couture presenting you the medal. I mean, not me. I didn't take top 4, but when you got Randy Couture watching, Arnold's walking by, giving the fist pump as he's walking through with security around him, obviously. But yeah, I mean, when you get that kind of stuff and you got all these top athletes that you know of and you watch on stage or on a, platform on YouTube and they're checking you out, that's how you know it's big time. And the fact that it's not around anymore bums me out,
Same. And something has to step up to fill that void, man. Like that was an event every year that people made it a point to qualify for, right? If you're an elite guy, you want to go to Arnold's. I want to go to Arnold's. I never got to go. I kind of took over the promotion and I never really got to focus on trying to go. And now I regret it because it's gone. So that's what I've tried to do with these round robins, man. Like I want it to be a privilege to be invited to, unfortunately, I want to have to tell people, go train a little bit more, man. Go out and work a little bit harder. We're living in the age where participation trophies, man, it just, that ain't the way it needs to be, man. And I get it. Everybody go out and train, but there do need to be elite events. And that's what we like.
Bring that prestige back,
Yeah.
A couple statements. Well, one's a question, one's a statement. A couple of them are. You ain't the only one doing things out of pocket. So Puerto Rico feels you,
Oh, I get that, man. I know pretty much not all promoters. I know some have sponsors, but a majority of the promoters do this, for what they love, and they do it out of their own pocket, man. And it's hard, but,
I think you touched base on this because Sarah wants to know what has been the most challenging part of doing these round robins. We're talking late guys and girls.
The hardest part is picking 12 and, holding those 12 together because life happens. Good and well, somebody's probably going to have something come up. So then you got to have somebody who's equal or better right there waiting, right? So that's the hardest part. Those are the hardest part for sure.
And you got to remember that even if you don't get selected, it's nothing against you, right? I mean, you can only fill so many spots.
Yeah.
And, I think people got to understand that, okay, if I got a 32-man bracket, but 50 are like the studs, that's not a mark against you because of those original 32, maybe some of them can't make it. And that's when you said earlier that, hey, just be on standby because you never know. Some people say, hey, life gets in the way, family gets in the way. Yeah. Not to mention, we'll use your invitation in December. That's around Christmas time.
Yeah.
So, you got to realize that, okay, it's a Christmas time. All right. That kind of thing. So who knows? But the fact that I like how you said, okay, well, I want to make sure this thing's a legit thing. So instead of having these last minute, because one thing, even Corey did this, and maybe you might took some notes because we had the event was March 2nd, I believe.
Yep.
And February 1st was the due date to have your entry fee in.
Yep.
And then, bit by bit, people start dropping out. They're like, okay, we got to plug some people in. And the only thing that was kind of stressful with that was that at one point I had 4 different opponents, because the way Corey did it, he would match up your Aries rating just alike. So that way you wouldn't, just smack some Joe Smo.
Yeah.
The person you were pulling the first round is going to be just like you.
Yes.
I mean, level-wise.
But
when you got people dropping out and you got to plug somebody in with a different rating, then it kind of shifts everything.
Oh,
At one point, I had 4 different opponents. And then finally, I think when it's all said and done the day of, one guy canceled last minute. So we actually had 63. And then someone had a bye in every round. That's just the way it went down. But nonetheless, it was fine. But yeah, I like how you're doing this. And yeah, it's going to be rough, but I'm sure watching what Corey did and kind of go, okay. And I don't know if you even talked to Corey, go, dude.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you pull off 64 guys? I got 32, and I think that's a lot. But you did one class, 64 guys. I got to do 32 guys in one class, but I'm doing a bunch of weight classes.
Yeah.
Where in the round robin with the guys and the ladies, you can pretty much, I don't want to use the word control, but you can have a handle on things, because it's like, okay, I got everybody needs right here, not here and there and all everywhere and all that kind of stuff. Like, hey, 166 class, hurry up and get to the table. You ain't got to worry about that, you know. But
2 things got accomplished by these round robins for sure.
Yes.
The first thing was when we, by the time December rolls around, like I said, we will have had 8 round robins now, right? Well, people watch these and they want to be a part of these. So then when something comes along where you got, there's more than 12 people. I think I could get in that. Let me get interested. Then their mind, peaks, and they're like, hey, let me go ahead and get a part of that.
Yeah.
Ahead of time. So that helped. And the second thing it accomplished was, again, 12 spots. Not everybody's getting it.
Right.
Sometimes that might be an ego check when you think you're a bad dude. And I have to tell you, man, I already have 12. Like, I'm sorry. Go train harder. But I will say, I can't count on my 2 hands how many people has messaged me and said, hey, I just want to let you know your round robins have inspired me to go out and train harder and go out and compete more, just so I can prove myself. And that's what I want, because, and I get travel's expensive, especially in today's world. The economy's rough. But you don't really see a lot of people hitting a lot of competitions. You don't. You might hit 3 a year, and that's cool. I don't fault anybody for that. But again, I was around the sport in the early 2000s where there wasn't 8 tournaments in one weekend. There was maybe 2, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, right? So everybody was going to that East Coast. And then 2 weeks from there, they were going to North Carolina. And then 2 weeks after that, they were going to Florida. And it was all the same crowd. That's what I'm trying to bring back, man. So
those were the days. I just think now what's different is the fact that there's so much of influx. And I said this on my show last week, that what happened, you have a certain event and it brings out a big boom. The last 2 was like when you had Game of Arms and Wall came out, there was your big boom, right? And then you had another one coming too. Now you got the East versus West, and I think COVID had. And I'm gonna say this: COVID kind of fucked some things up, but also kind of did us a favor too, because prior to COVID, you didn't have Knuckles Up, you didn't have East versus West, Armed Gods, King of the Table. You didn't have Montana Armbender. You didn't have none of that stuff. You didn't have, AWC. And I think now, with the influx of all these new people coming in our sport, there's something from a promotion standpoint that caters to somebody.
Yes.
If you like the renegade, misfits, pack rats of Armed Gods, that if that's for you, there you go. And I'm not throwing shade on them because they are who they are. They can't fucking say a goddamn thing to me because they've admitted themselves. So yeah, I'm gonna call them that.
Yeah.
Right? Now you got Puerto Rico opening up its doors. You got the North American Championships in Mexico opening its doors. It's like, where do you go? Hell, I'm excited to go to Texas and stick my toe in the water because I know good and damn well there's some good pullers down there. I'm gonna do that this summer.
Oh yeah.
You got the World Series of Arm Wrestling with Greg Sharp. I'm connected to that. Tim Thomas, my boy, my friend, my boy in the sport of arm wrestling. He has 2 events he puts on. That's it. But they're major ones. One in Arizona, one in Washington in December.
I can't wait to get out to Arizona, man. I cannot.
Yeah. So I'm telling you right now, we are in a good spot. We just got to make sure that we keep it that way and go, okay, keep it pushing. So,
something I'll say about the round robins, man. Oh, go ahead. I see that question pop up.
Kenny Passmore says, LaRay, what would you feel? Well, what do you feel is bad for female arm wrestling? The way we have kids in life or social media bashing? We definitely appreciate what y'all are doing for us. Do we even want to fucking go down that rabbit hole? Hey, you think about it. I'm going to say something now.
All right.
Because you know what? Here's the thing. As much as I love and adore, and I'm talking from the heart right here. As much as I love and adore my fellow lady pullers, some of them are like sisters to me. Okay? We need to knock that shit off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we got so many other bullshit and politics going on in the sport now. We don't need another episode of this nonsense. Okay? I will do everything.
It's a total different category of nonsense too.
Right. It's a different, I will do everything in my power to help the ladies go forward. But this bashing shit got to fucking stop because the guys deal with that crap already. We got a handful of guys I can name on one hand that I'm not going to say they're ruining the sport, but they're not making arm wrestling very appeasing these days.
Yeah.
Because of all their circus antics.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it doesn't bleed into the ladies division. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to point fingers at nobody. All I'm saying is that I will support the ladies every way possible. But the one thing I will not tolerate, and I probably shouldn't say that, but the one thing I am not okay with is this bashing each other. Because once you start doing that, and that takes precedent over what we're here to do, you lost everything. Because I'm gonna say something right now, and these ladies may hate me for what I'm saying about this. You ladies are behind the 8 ball as it is already.
Yep.
Okay. Y'all deserve the spotlight just like the guys do. But when you guys have these cat fights and all this other dumb shit going on, all you're doing is hurting yourselves. Yeah. And you can't get out of your own way. I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know if it's because I don't like that certain person. We got to stop.
Yeah.
I said my piece. So,
well, here's what I'll say. And there's a couple points I'll hit on. You said one of them. When you get this woman or this woman and this woman and they don't like each other, well, the odds of them showing up to the same competition, probably not likely. I mean, it just isn't. Women are different than men, I feel like. Like if me and you we have something against each other, right? But I know you're going to be at Arizona State. Man, I don't care. Like, I'll show up. I could just not talk to you, right?
Right.
Women are different than men. And I want to be careful with saying all that, but we just got to be honest with each other, right? And the second point is, if you look at arm wrestling on the international stage, right? America compared to other countries, arm wrestling is more of a professional sport in the aspect of they treat their athletes differently, right? When you look at America, the men don't even really get treated. The tip top 1%, they get treated right? They get treated like stars. But you got this 99 other percent of the men who are, this is a hobby, right? So then when you shrink that down and go to the women category, well, then it's even smaller, right? Because we honestly don't even take our men seriously, right? So what would make them take the women seriously? And I'm not saying me, because I take everybody seriously. I'm just public image, right? So I feel like if we can do a better job in the United States at really treating our athletes like athletes, the women will grow, with events like what Tim's doing, and what we're doing, and the John Brezink Cup. Eventually, it'll grow, man. It will.
Oh, the Brazilian Cup is massive with the ladies. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah, I saw it, and all the ladies that are in this were there, and that's what I like to see. So, man, what's bad for it? And I don't know what's bad for. I don't know. I guess the drama. I dropped in the group chat when all that drama was going on. I don't know if you saw all the drama, but there was a little bit of drama going on. And I was like, man, y'all are making this hard for me to want to do this, but I'm going to keep doing it for y'all.
Now, that's the one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, which Sarah makes a great point. Honestly, the biggest thing for the ladies division that's holding us back is just showing up.
Yep.
Got to get the ladies to the event. And I think, Sarah, and if I don't want to step on your toes, LaRay, but I'm going to take the lead on this question by answering that.
Okay.
Round robin. I think this right here, like, hey, y'all want to get paid like the guys? And LaRay's throwing out money? And who's your buddy? His name is Chris?
Chris Griffith. Yes, sir.
If Chris and LaRay are putting things together to shill out money for y'all, why y'all not showing up?
Yep.
I mean, Sarah will show up, but why are the other ladies not showing up? Jocelyn will be there. Hi, Jocelyn. We'll see you tonight on the show. She's in the chat, by the way.
Nice.
But I'm telling you right now, that's what it is. So, and I may sound abrasive, but this is why people love me. This is why some people hate me, but I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say what I want to say.
Yeah.
This right here, for the ladies, you cannot bitch and complain about what about us if the opportunity is there and you don't go up and take that brass ring.
Yep.
You can't complain. I'm sorry. If Chris and LaRay are putting out money, hey, we're put on this tournament. We got 2 classes. Pick one. We got money paying out to what, 5th, 6th place, whatever the case may be.
Half the ladies on money.
Right. Opportunities there. So 1, you can make money. 2, you get to rub elbows and compete against, you know what? I want to see how good Jocelyn is. I want to see if I can, Sarah's been on the big stage. Do I have what it takes to even compete with her? If the ladies are thinking that way, show up. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I could be wrong for saying that. I could be out of line for saying that. Hell, I might have been disrespectful. If I was, I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. The only way, not the only way, but one of the ways to get this thing off the ground is show up, stop bashing one another, and let's grow this bad boy.
Exactly. And it goes further than the women, Look at the 12-man round robin. Look at the caliber of pullers that are in this. How many tournaments would you have to travel to chase down these other 11 guys?
Woo, a lot.
How many?
A lot.
So bang for your buck, you're going to travel one time. And I get it. Travel's expensive. I do understand that. And it's more expensive for some than it is others. But you're going to travel one time and you're going to get to arm wrestle all 11. All 11. And for the ladies' sake, we're doing an open tournament the day of the Saturday, which, I get right-handed they won't. But left-handed, why not all 12 from here and 12 from here? We'll have a 24-woman bracket left-handed that you don't even have to pay to pull, right? So you're not gonna get a bigger bang for your buck. You're gonna pay a hotel and you're gonna pay your travel. Now you're gonna get to arm wrestle 11 other badasses.
So there's a question. It says, make women's arm wrestling watchable.
Yeah.
I would love for you to elaborate on that because there were some comments earlier in the chat about, drama sells. Not really. I mean, it depends on what you want in the sport. If you want drama, then this ain't it.
Right.
Go to Arm Gods. You can have all the drama you want over there, right?
Yeah.
They sat there and told me, Paul Maiden said on my show with his own words, we're trying to be entertainment. Cool. Now we know what you are and who you are. If you like that kind of stuff, go there. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. This is my show. I get to fucking cuss when I want to. But look, I'm going to say something right now. I assure you, June 1st, Arizona State. When the ladies from Sweden come down, they don't need that fucking drama shit to sell.
Nah.
They don't need that drama shit to fucking be watchable. They are who they are because they've been kicking ass on the world stage for years.
Yeah.
That's right there. Why do you think everybody wants to go there? Not because they're fucking drama queens. Ain't got nothing to do with that. And I think some people are missing the point. I'm not going to pinpoint nobody like that, but think of it as a whole. Does Sarah Backman need drama for her to sell? No. Theorizing, no.
Well, I'll say this, and I watched your, I always watch all your episodes. I try to support all the podcasts, and so I watched your last one. You guys were talking about characters, and you guys were talking about, trying to be that character. We don't need that. And I disagree, but not the characters that we're seeing. We don't need that. When you're a character, you don't have to try, like what you just said.
Travis Bates is a character.
He don't have
to try to be him. It's gonna be fucking fake.
Exactly.
Travis,
everybody knows Sarah Bachman. She's a character, but she's not the character that you have to fake, right? When she walks in the building, I promise you, everybody's gonna turn and be like, "That's Sarah Bachman." They know her, right? Yes. You don't have to try. So those are the characters we need, and making arm wrestling watchable. And this is more not just for the women, for overall. You had WAL, right? That was probably the most successful watchable arm wrestling, right? That and Game of Arms. And that was a one-on-one deal, right?
Right.
Well, I think, and again, this is me being biased. Go ahead and call me out. I'll call myself out. But these round robins would be perfect for TV. They would be. Because hear me out. When you throw a match on TV, you're going to get to watch 3 matches, right? Maybe 5 if you're lucky. You don't really get a backstory. You don't really get to develop a connection to that athlete, right? Until the next time they come around. Well, when you got a round robin, if I had my perfect way with this and I had a big time production, I'd have cut scenes between rounds, introducing you to the pullers, right? Introducing you to who they are, right? But then by round 3, Jody is watching like, man, dude, look how he's a blue collar guy. He gets up and goes to work for his family every day. That's the type of guy I like. So by round 3, now you're a fan, right? You're a big time fan. You want to cheer against this. Then by round 8, you're like, man, I didn't even know this about the other guy. So when you get that much arm wrestling, you really start to gain connections and you get to develop backstories because we don't need characters. We're characters in our own, right?
Well, hey, I'll give you an example. Let's use that 198 round robin for example.
Yes.
Bob Brown was a character.
Yes.
In his own right. Hell, Quinlan Mendez, a couple times he was like, nah, elbow foul. What? My elbow's still on.
Yep.
That's natural.
Yep.
Craig Tooley, just kind of, fine, whatever. That's natural. What's up? How we doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how we doing? So I guess the fine line is characters. What kind of characters are we talking about? Because once again, for the chat, I think, when I say characters like Travis, he's funny because that is his natural character.
Yep.
I'm going to use 2 people as an example, and then maybe people understand. Travis will say some things, and he makes you laugh. If Michael Todd said the exact same thing, you want to get a fight with him. If John Brazing said the exact same thing, it'll be like, oh, John, what are you doing? That's not you. Exactly. 3 different guys, 3 different characters.
If it's not natural, it doesn't work, man. It just doesn't. It feels forced.
And that's the thing. I think maybe when I say that kind of stuff, I'm not clear, I understand. We live in a world of social media. We need characters to sell the sport. Yeah, you do to a certain degree, but when you start venturing the fine line of entertainment, WWE style, come on, man. We all know WWE is scripted because at that point, you start doing that shit, then we're going to have scripted matches. Then it's like, why the fuck are we even training then?
Exactly.
If we're going to predetermine who's going to win, why the fuck am I even training? Oops,
man,
sorry.
I would look more towards the
I didn't mean to cuss it for you, little one. I mean, why in the world are we even training? Yeah. Because seriously, it's like we got into the sport for the competition. Right? Not the drama. If it happens, it happens. But I want to make sure that for me, when I step on the table, it's legit. Yes. My emotions are legit. I ain't got to sit there and wear a mask or a cape or none of that stuff. I ain't got to sit there and I get that, But again, it's like, that's why different promotions were catered to different people.
Yeah.
I think some of the times that some people want all arm wrestling to be a certain promotion. It's not going to be like that.
Nah.
Ron Baff even said that tag match was stupid. Me itself, I watch it. Nah, it was, yeah, okay, whatever. Because I thought those two guys sold the match itself without the tag match. What turned me off was the stupid beer can and blading yourself. Okay, now we're getting stupid. If y'all like that, that's cool.
Yeah, no,
but
I'm
don't
gonna be
expect
honest.
that.
Leading
Go
up
ahead.
to that, I was like, dude, for arm wrestling, this is dumb. But I do, my son likes WWE, right? I'm a kid that grew up in the 90s. I liked watching wrestling, right? But I get for the sport of arm wrestling, it's not right for that. But leading up to that, I was like, man, I'm just gonna watch this just for the entertainment base, but not for the sport, because at that point, I'm not really caring who's winning. I'm just gonna watch somebody get hurt, right? Which, and then guess what? I didn't even watch it, right? Because it wasn't appeasing enough for me to reach out and order that. Like it,
right?
Yeah.
And hey, but YouTubers we are in the Jake Paul world these days, Logan Paul world these days. That's what it is. I understand that. So here I'm gonna do this. Drama sells and drama puts asses in seat. I'm not denying that.
But look at WWE versus UFC. UFC still has drama, right? But they're real people, correct?
There you go.
That's the difference. If you want to develop a character, you don't have to develop a character. Be yourself.
Right.
Conor McGregor puts asses in seats, right? But Conor McGregor is himself. I don't think he's trying to be that. He's just him, right?
Right.
So
here. And here, this is what Candy said. Hey, we are our own characters and made our own names by pulling. Yes. Yeah. I guarantee you, for those that are like, oh, drama sells everything. I guarantee you, if Brazil came to a tournament, your ass is watching and he doesn't do none of that bullshit.
Exactly.
Guarantee it.
Exactly. No, you're right.
If Todzilla's on the card, your ass is watching. He's not doing that stuff. But I think my point is that do you need characters? Yeah, to a certain degree. If it starts to get stupid, then it's like, okay, now the focal point is that and not the actual sport.
Yeah.
But, not everybody has to be a character. I guess in the grand scheme of things, and I'm going to put a bow tie on this topic, in the grand scheme of things, okay, so everybody in the chat who are kind of pushing back on, my statements and stuff, I'm not saying drama doesn't sell. All I'm saying is this. Not everybody needs to be like that.
Yeah.
And that's the vibe I'm getting from some. Like, oh, you got to be a character to play asses in seats. No, you don't. Because if you want to be a fake person, go right ahead, because that means you ain't 100% real with yourself.
Yeah.
I'd rather be me, who I am, on my soapbox, cussing and raving on my show, because I'm passionate about what I say. I'm passionate about what I do. And I don't give a goddamn who likes me or not. That's me. I'd rather be 100% real than 200% fake and have people following me.
Correct.
I don't give a fuck who follows me, because I'm going to be me 110% from sunrise to sunset. And that's the way it is, because that is the ABCs of me. End of.
I'll give you a last example on the characters. And this is kind of manufactured out of our round robins, right? So 154 was our very first round robin. Hunter Knobs wins it, right? He beats Roman Gromov. That is a big upset to the world, right?
Yeah.
Well, the way we do our round robins is if you win a class, you get a shot at the next class. Why not? If you're in the UFC, you can get a shot at 2 belts. So let's do that here. So Hunter Knobs got an invite to the 176. Well, guess what? Leading up, man, he's a 154 guy. He's not. No, blah, blah, blah. It's not manufactured. It's natural talk, right? Well, Hunter being who he is, I'm that motherfucker. I'm going to show up and I'm going to win and I'm going to be double champion, right? And it developed into some bets, right? Which was cool. Well, here comes Saturday. Hunter wasn't in left-handed, right? Because he's just right-handed. Right. Left-handed, we did early. There was excitement. Cool. It was a little quiet because it was early. But when Hunter Knobs walked in the building, everybody said, oh, there's the 54 champ.
Yeah.
Is he going to back up what he said? But guess what? The motherfucker wins it, and the whole place is going nuts. Like, oh, my gosh, we have the next guy. Like, he just won 2 classes. Hunter Knobs is a character now. But he didn't do it any way other than being himself. He's not fake. So, yeah, that's the last thing I'll say on it, too.
No, I mean, seriously, because it's just like, I guess everyone's a character, but not everybody has to be the same character, or else we'd be a bunch of walking androids, right?
Yep.
I want to be me. That's what separates everybody from everybody, because everybody's different.
Yep.
Everyone's different. And that's the glory of all that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but like I said, I mean, you can't make everybody happy. I know I can't, but not that I'm going to try, but, you know, that's just where I'm coming from. But,
Oh, yeah.
my man, I'm going to let you go because I know you got to travel. You got a long road ahead of you because where you competing tomorrow?
So it's actually our tournament. We partnered with Steve Pettis, and you know, he holds Michigan State's. He lives in Kentucky. We were like, hey, let's collab. Let's get the promoters together and let's do this thing together. So we threw a tournament in Kentucky, and it's in Corbin, Kentucky. We called it State Line Collision, and you know, it's first year doing it, so we'll see how it works.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you go because I know you got a long. I don't know how long the drive is, but I know you got to get on the road and stuff. But my man, I want to thank you for joining me on the show because this is only part one. If by chance you get a check out part two later tonight, I'm gonna have Jocelyn on the show because she's gonna be pulling the 155 and over ladies round robin, and I'm gonna bring her on the show. We're gonna pick her brain and see where she's at because man,
what time?
That woman can lift. I've seen her bench press more than some dudes.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen her just annihilate the field at Winter Blast. They'll tell you about it. I'll have her tell you about it. But
what time
I'm gonna have her on there, so I'm excited.
What time is that?
That'll be 6 p.m. East Coast time, 3 o'clock West Coast.
I'll be watching.
Yeah. So, my man, thanks for joining me on the show. I'm ecstatic what you're doing. The ladies love what you're doing for the round robin. The guys love you with all the round robins and the international invitations and stuff. My friend, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, man. I'd love to come on anytime. Anytime you get a free open spot, hit me up, man. I'm always, you know, around the house. I'd love to come on again for sure. I enjoyed talking with you, man. That was fun.
All right, man. Hey, safe travels, by the way.
Appreciate it, brother.
Take care.
All right. See you, man.